You know, it is very difficult for anyone, especially students of history, political history in Nigeria, to situate some of the points we're getting from politicians, yourself inclusive, because it would seem that when they're in any party, irrespective of that ideology or posture of that particular party, they stay with it and, you know, expose that particular point. How well can the nation know when some of political leaders like yourself are telling the nation the truth? Because if you were in PDP as we speak, I'm quite sure you'll be saying something quite differently. We've seen that within the PDP, those who moved to the PDP and those who moved vice versa. Who is fooling who in the country? Are we being taken for a ride by politicians?
No. Some might be trying to take the people. Some might be trying to take the people for a ride, but I personally, I am not. I cannot align my conscience with some of the things that happened in the PDP before I left. People who know me know that I don't have any cause to be desperate over anything. I had a very good run in the private sector before I came in, and I held my head high. I did not do anything that I cannot be proud of, that my children cannot be proud of while in power. I left government to become National Vice Chairman of the PDP for the Southwest. I was trying also to see whatever I can do to raise the consciousness of people towards reforming the party to deliver the best for Nigerians. But I saw that the party was bringing in some people that I cannot queue either besides or in front of or behind. I knew also that as a person, I should not allow the exigencies of politics to compromise me to the extent that I will recommend a governor for my state that I cannot recommend to my children as role models. And I said it very clear. I made it very clear. There are levels of compromises that a decent person should not make. And I'm still saying it. Anybody that I cannot recommend to my children as role models, I will not recommend to my state.
All right, Mr. Oni, tell us, we're looking at time now, what's your party, because we know that you talk about security, what your party would do if they win the elections, about security. Now that the army, in conjunction with African neighbors, taking the insurgency headlong, many argue that, well, one of your campaign points has just maybe been lost now. But could you then tell us if that's the case, or what would you do about security if your party wins?
Well, one of the campaign points is just being started. Because once upon a time, we had a Nigerian army that everybody all over the world respects. A Nigerian army that does not need to call on Chad or Cameroon or Niger to ward off insurgency. A Nigerian army that all of us are proud of its competence and the diligence of its people. A Nigerian army that went to Liberia and sorted out Liberia. A Nigerian army that went to Sierra Leone and sorted out Sierra Leone. That is the Nigerian army that we want to see. That is the armed forces that we want to see. So when we talk of security, it goes beyond warding off ragtag insurgents. It is about developing back the military that we will all be very proud of. It is also equipping the police to do their jobs. It's equipping the state security service people to deliver. It is ensuring that all the territory of Nigeria will be safe for all Nigerians. It is to also ensure that crime rates will come down as drastically as we can. It is to ensure that our men in uniform will be well trained, they will be well remunerated and well motivated, and their futures will be guaranteed.
Let me take policing, for instance.
To ensure, excuse me please, that when they leave, they will not have to die on the queues.
All right, let's talk about policing for a minute.
Pension.
Since you also mentioned policing, will your party support state policing?
State policing is an issue that I think it's time for us to discuss it very, very seriously. We are not going to jump into anything. We are going to put it under very, very good scrutiny. All stakeholders will contribute, but it is an idea that we cannot wave off with a wave of the hand any longer. We must be prepared to try every good idea to ensure that our territory is safe. That's what the objective is, not about suiting the ego of anybody. It is about ensuring that Nigerians can carry out their duties and their responsibilities and their businesses in the finest of atmosphere. If the consensus of expertise says that it should be by state police or community police or whatever you want to say, then so be it. What we want is that the objective of keeping Nigeria safe must be achieved. We are not going to bar any opinion. We are not going to bar any possibility. We are going to go for whatever is best for Nigeria.
So at the moment, you cannot tell pointedly if your party will support state policing if you win.
We are likely to support state policing.
Now, looking at some of the other requests, people are wondering what is going to happen to the economy. You've been saying that the economy is on a downward spiral, but people are saying that is what is obtainable generally around the world. You know that our mainstay is oil. In other states, especially the APC states, have not been able to show just what they intend to do in their different states. How are we going to trust them with the federation account or the economy of the nation?
When it comes to economy, the central government has all the aces because the parameters are all in their hands. They determine whether the naira is going to be strong or whether it's going to be weak. They determine whether services will be properly made available to Nigerians. They determine whether there will be growth or whether there will be recession. The federal government manages the economy. The subnational governments manage fallout from whatever the federal government has done at the center. So we don't expect that a state government will determine what the value of the naira will be. But we know that the federal government is in a position, by the way they manage the economy, to determine how it will be. We're not expecting any rate fixing, but we are expecting proper management that is devoid of this massive corruption and stealing that we see. This government has shown itself incapable of tackling the corruption issue. If the president of Nigeria does not know the difference between stealing and corruption, and says stealing, that what people are complaining about is stealing, and that is not corruption, then you can know he's not in a position to do anything.
I think he clarified what he meant. He clarified what he meant by that, and for those who were taking it the other way, he thought, look, that's just pun intended, but clearly there's a difference between both, which we believe that he spoke about. But if you move on to the other matter now about this election, because some, with respect to collection of the permanent voter cards now, as we just prepare to wind down on this one, as it is today, do you think that no matter what happens anywhere else, and those who may not have gotten their PVCs, maybe owing to no fault of theirs, is that figure negligible that we can go ahead with the elections?
I believe we can go ahead with the elections, but I will still encourage. I believe we can go ahead with the elections, but we can still encourage the INEC to do whatever they can, and also the various governments to encourage our people to collect the PVCs. But PVCs were used in Ekiti, even though without a card reader. and we were 50-something% when the election held. We are not saying that that's good enough. It is now very, very close to 70%. We are saying that what we have on ground will even give us, if the turnout is as we expected, will give us the highest turnout ever in the history of voting in Nigeria. We are never going to get to 100%, and I don't know many countries in the world that have achieved 100%. My appeal to all Nigerians is, let us go on with what we've got. The future will be better.
All right, let me look at this matter before we wrap up. If the chairman, because you believed him when he said they were ready for the elections before it was rescheduled, if he then comes up tomorrow and says, well, gentlemen, we may have an issue here. Yes, we can use the PVC, but no card reader. Would you believe him?
We believe that that is, again, the hand of the unseen manipulator. I hope it never happens. I hope that we can hold this election for once. Let people try and see what the sovereign will of the people will be. If I were the president, I'd be so relaxed to the extent that I have given 6 years, the highest under this constitution, that anybody can be president of Nigeria is 8 years, by the way. And if anybody has had a term of 6 years, that's 75% of the maximum.
Let me ask you another hypothetical one before we close, because remember you started out saying, look, when your party spoke about elections were going to be postponed, people didn't believe it, they said, forget about that, perish the thought, and then it happens. So hypothetically now, what if something happens, not that there's any clear intention or we have seen anything, what if there's talk that, okay, from the look of things, we may have to hold the presidential elections after the governorship elections? If that happens, what would your reaction be, or your party?
We believe that it cannot happen. We want to believe that should not happen, that should never happen, because you cannot change the rules of a game in the middle of it. You are in a football match, you played more than 75 minutes, and the referee says, oh no, we have to now allow that even if you foul an opponent in the center circle, it will be a penalty kick. Will the game continue? The game will not continue, and we must be realistic. Nobody can change the rules of this game any longer. These rules have been given us not yesterday, not last month, not last week. Nobody should attempt to change it. We are ready to play by the rules. And all Nigerians should be asking for is that every institution of government should always hold on to the rules. We are decent people. We should not continue to make the whole world laugh at us. Believe that Nigeria is a land where almost anything is possible.
We have to go. Thank you very much indeed. Mr. Segun Oni is the National Vice Chairman, Southwest of the APC. Thank you for speaking with us today on Sunrise Daily.
Yeah, excuse me, please. Can I make a correction just before I go?
Okay.
I'm Deputy National Chairman, South.
Pardon me. Deputy National Vice. That's what's written here. My error again, actually. Thank you very much. Thank you.
National Chairman, South. Thank you very much.
All right, then.